Why do you think it is that these people are so ideologically married, even when the polls say stop going in this direction?
Look, I have told the minister or the prime minister straight up, fire Stephen Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault is not only tanking the country, he is also tanking the liberal popularity, and you see it.
I mean, when we look at Naheed Nenshi, I mean, my constituents remember what it was like to have him as the mayor. And, you know, very clearly he would be, I think, Justin Trudeau's choice for Alberta.
Well, I think I'd put that question back to everyone else is, you know, would you look back fondly on any time where a mayor has raised taxes 81% and then, on the other hand, made himself the most highly paid mayor in the country? I don't think so. I think.
Without further ado, here's Premier Smith.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, MLA Bouchard. You know, there's a lot of my colleagues who are here, which just tells you something about how much support our caucus has for each other.
Very happy now to be joined by Premier Danielle Smith. You know, I guess South Calgary is one of the most conservative parts of the country, but in the last election, we saw Calgary become a bit of a battleground. What do you think the UCP needs to do? What's the primary focus to ensure that Calgary goes maybe even more blue than in the last election?
Look, it is going to be a battleground. We know that. We know that the progressives are united under a single banner for now. I mean, I don't know if that will stay. They seem to be having an internal civil war right now, and I'll be watching to see how that goes. But what I think the reason we won is because we know that we have to make sure that we've got a strong economy, attract jobs, because when people have a good paying job, they can take care of themselves, their families, and their communities. And then for those who need the extra support of government, we've got to make sure all of our services are working. Our principal job in government is to deliver healthcare the very best that we can, education, advanced education, and supports for the most vulnerable. And I can tell you that because of the approaches that we're taking, we are making great strides. And I'm feeling really confident that people will see that kind of balance. We need to have a strong economy so that we can take care of people.
Very happy now to be joined by Minister Rebecca Schulz. I suppose my first question is for you. I mean, I don't expect much out of the Trudeau government, but has there been any progress, any news, whether it be on emissions or any of these other absurd fronts that they're waging war on Alberta's industries?
No, you know, this federal government continues to just be marching along, whether that be on clean electricity regulations. They said they were taking some feedback, but, you know, what we've seen still wouldn't be workable. The emissions cap is still expected to be released this fall. And of course, that would absolutely be an infringement on provincial jurisdiction. It would absolutely curtail production, which is not acceptable for us. And then you see them, you know, on things like plastics and the Impact Assessment Act, just really, I think, ignoring what the courts have said about constitutionality.
Well, you know, the first thing we have to do is we have to provide good government, and so I think the principles that we believe in as a government are supported by the people. There was a lot of misinformation going around in the last election that we had to deal with, but I think people are learning that the premier is not the way some people have vilified her at all, and that the government is proceeding and doing the kinds of things that we need to do. 90% of all the jobs in Canada in the last 6 months were created here in Alberta. We think we have the right formula. We're doing the right things. And so provide good government and we'll be okay.
I mean, just look around us, Adam. I think this shows the excitement that people have in the priorities we are focusing on. And I think that's been the message all along, and that's resonating with people. Jobs, economy, schools, infrastructure, healthcare. These are the things that matter. And just by seeing the excitement here today and how many people have shown up, I think we're on the right track.
You know, I think it's continuing to focus on what's always been important to conservatives, you know, entrepreneurship, family, freedom, working hard, and a good economy. Albertans want to come here for good jobs, work hard, and provide for their families. And I think what we've demonstrated so far in our first year in this term has been demonstrating that, and it's great things are happening under our premier.
Wow, I think showing up, continuing to show up, advocating for what we believe, you know, for truth, for families, for freedom, for small businesses. We represent the average person, and this incredible turnout this morning just shows that.
I built this province, and I have to say, this rodeo tradition is vitally important as what makes us different and unique from the rest of the country. And we have to embrace that. And I must say, as those rodeo men and women tradition and the sports that they do that is a true reflection of the Alberta spirit, because boy are they risk takers, no doubt about it. Boy do they love freedom, and don't we? And they have a little bit of grit. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty to get the job done, and that's about as Albertan as I can possibly imagine. So thank you for being here. Thank you for passing on these wonderful, important traditions to the next generation. I see future generations of cowboys and cowgirls here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come over and say hi to me and my colleagues, so let us know what's on your mind. And thank you so much for being here. Yahoo!
The new leader of the NDP has a history in Calgary, in Naheed Nenshi. Do you think that he poses a greater threat to the Conservatives? Will Calgary remember maybe some of the tax hikes and those other things? And will it affect? What's your opinion? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, look, I mean, I think it's telling that all I've heard from him so far is insults and name calling and no policy. He says he wants to repeal all of our policy, and then doesn't give a single example of what he would repeal. That tells me that he doesn't really know the issues all that well, or maybe he doesn't disagree quite as much as he says he does. But he should be running on his record, and I can see why he isn't. Incredible tax hikes, 81%. I don't think if you ask any Calgarian that they believe that they got an 81% increase in their level of services. Prioritizing bike lanes and blue rings instead of inspecting water pipelines. I mean, he's got a record he's got to stand for, and I think when people look at that, they'll say, didn't work for Calgary. Don't need it to work. We don't think it'll work for Alberta either.
You know, I would say, first of all, it is awesome to see so many people out here for the United Conservative Pancake Breakfast this morning, hosted by all of our amazing constituency associations in South Calgary. It's awesome to see. Lots of excitement, lots of people. And I'm optimistic about our future as a party. I mean, when we look at Naheed Nenshi, I mean, my constituents remember what it was like to have him as the mayor. And, you know, very clearly he would be, I think, Justin Trudeau's choice for Alberta. I think people know how closely he's linked with Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, but also his record of tax increases, giving himself a massive raise. These are not things that Albertans want at a time like this.
Well, I think I'd put that question back to everyone else is, you know, would you look back fondly on any time where a mayor has raised taxes 81% and then on the other hand made himself the most highly paid mayor in the country? I don't think so. I think that's a resounding no.
You know, I think Calgarians are smart, and many individuals, they'll think back about the decisions he made when he was mayor, and folks that are new to Calgary and new to Alberta, I mean, I think Albertans are informed voters. They'll do some research, they'll find out what he's done in the past, and more importantly, they'll see what sort of things he's going to be introducing as we go forward and decide what's right for them.
Well, there's no question he's a very skilled politician. I look forward to welcoming him into the legislature. I think, you know, he has a long history in Calgary. I think I look forward to him running on his accomplishments and what he did in Calgary.
Whether it be the municipal politicians in Calgary, the NDP, or Justin Trudeau, they all seem to be aligned on the same issues, but they're not polling well. Why do you think it is that these people are so ideologically married, even when the polls say stop going in this direction?
Look, I have told the minister, or the prime minister, straight up, fire Stephen Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault is not only tanking the country, he is also tanking the liberal popularity, and you see it. Like NDP leaders across the country, NDP as well as NDP MLAs are saying, you know what, this carbon tax isn't working, because they see it, because it increases the price of everything. The plastic ban increases the price of everything. The fact that everything requires transportation and heating to be able to get products to market, it's increasing the price of everything. I don't know why they can't see it. It's pretty obvious to me. The more they increase the carbon tax, the more their polling results go down. It's pretty easy to say, you know what, Albertans, Canadians have had enough and switch gears. They choose not to. And that should tell us something, that they don't really care what it is that Canadians and Albertans want. They're going to continue on this ideological path. And I think it's a path that's going to lead them to be unelected. And then we can get back to a role of putting things first, addressing affordability, making sure that we address the productivity crisis, making sure that we're building homes, and address the things that people really care about.
You know, I think for us, it is just staying focused on things that are top of mind for Albertans. Opportunity, jobs, addressing the affordability crisis. Again, that was largely driven by bad policies put forward by the Liberal NDP coalition in Ottawa. And so seeing essentially that Alberta advantage come back. I mean, we're seeing it now. We're a far better place than many others in the country when it comes to that affordability piece. It's why we're seeing so many people choose to call Alberta home. But again, like seeing housing starts, we're leading the nation when it comes to job growth, and more businesses are also choosing to start up here in Alberta. And so I think that those are great signs. That's what people really want to see. That of course that's what they're going to get in our conservative government for sure.
Hey guys, if you want to cover our exclusive and truly independent coverage of all of the Calgary Stampede, and if you want to see more of these important conversations with elected officials, I want you to keep in mind that we don't take a single dollar or dime from governments. That's why we can be truly independent in our coverage. So I'm asking you to consider supporting the work that we're doing. It'd be impossible without your support. You can do that by chipping in at rebelfieldreports.com.